One love, y'all. Welcome back to the living room, and today I will be discussing the similarities between Errol, the true Spence Jr., and the Dark Knight Batman. Now, I know this is a crazy comparison, but sidebar, Ben Affleck is the best Batman in my opinion, but I'm gonna be going with the Christian Bale, the Dark Knight Rises version, only because the fight that Errol had with Bud Crawford reminds me of the fight that Batman had with Bane. There's like a lot of similarities between the two, and we're gonna discuss that. I could have easily gone with Rocky. Rocky and Errol Spence, they have a lot of similarities as well, but I just chose to find two different genres to compare. But Rocky, he's a southpaw just like Errol Spence. They both work horses. They both use a jab to close the distance. They both have a killer body game, like Errol Spence right here. He's getting countered, but he's still fighting forward. Because really, he isn't that great of a fighter going backwards. He don't know how to fight off his back foot. Very similar to Rocky. But he getting hit. Even when he's getting countered, he's still coming forward just like Rocky. The movie fighting is terrible. Rocky just blocking all the punches with his face. But watch. I know he unorthodox, but Mickey told him to start off in that stance, but he's really a southpaw. Jab, jab, to close up the distance, work the body. The same thing that Errol Spence Jr. does. Work that body, work the body. High work rate. Errol and Rocky also got that punch-drunk sound to him, but Rocky, my boy, we gotta keep this train moving. I'll let you later, my dude. Now, a lot of people say that Errol Spence came into this fight looking high. He did look a little blowed right there. By the time he got to the ring, he looked like he was ready. Albeit nervous, but he looked like he was ready. Of course, he's gonna be nervous on that big stage. But, Bud, he just came out, he just seized the moment. From the last press conference to the weigh-in, that's when I really saw a role reversal. Errol Spence had the momentum. He was roasting. He was roasting Bud in press conferences. He did a hell of a job promoting this fight with his t-shirts, his merchandise. But we here for the fight, and he came out real solid. Like I said, he closed the distance with his jab, going to the body. He said, "Soon, y'all know how I'm coming. Soon as the fight start, I'm stepping." But Bud defense is just immaculate. And then his jab, nobody thought he would come out jabbing better than Spence. He came out southpaw. Personally, that's his better stance. He's a southpaw that can fight orthodox. And then he had a hell of a speed advantage. I knew he was going to come in faster than Spence. I just didn't think that his punches were going to deal this type of damage. A lot of people had some jokes to say about Errol Spence, and that he was the easiest opponent that Terrence Bud Crawford ever faced, which isn't true. Errol Spence was dangerous the entire fight. Terrence Bud Crawford was just able to stay a step or two ahead the whole time, offensively and defensively. What Errol's downfall was that he didn't have enough fear coming into this fight. He was overconfident. Fear is a very valuable tool. Fear will give you a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, but he always had a hell of a plan A. So having fear is to have intelligence in the face of danger. And he just didn't have enough of that, and it showed. And there's a very powerful line from the movie The Dark Knight Rises. Check it out.
Patience cost you your strength. Victory has defeated you.
Now let's dive into the similarities between Errol Spence Jr. and The Dark Knight Rises. Errol and Batman have both been in a lot of combat throughout their adult life and have accumulated a lot of injuries.
As a Ferrari flipped on a Dallas street. In that car was Errol Spence Jr. He's the boxing champion from DeSoto. Spence survived the crash, but is in rough shape at a Dallas hospital right now. We have team coverage for you.
One could imagine Errol's doctor visit sounding like this.
I have seen worse cartilage in knees.
It's good.
No, that's because there is no cartilage in your knee and not much of any use in your elbows or your shoulders. Between that and the scar tissue on your kidneys, the residual concussive damage to your brain tissue, and the general scarred over quality of your body, I cannot recommend that you go hella skiing, Mr. Wayne.
Right.
So with all of these injuries suffered in Errol Spence's life, one will ask themselves, why does he keep fighting? For the same reason that Batman patrols Gotham City. That's just who they are. Like, Batman lives a double life fighting crime. Errol Spence lives his double life by boxing his opponent. That's just who he is. And he just determined to see how this all unfolds. And it's ultimately his choice. So now, if Errol Spence is the Dark Knight Batman, then Terrence Crawford is Bane. By no means am I trying to paint Bud as a bad guy, because he seems like a pretty stand-up type of guy. Like, he seems like a great father. I think he's a husband, but I know he's with the mother of all his children, and he's doing a lot of things for his community. Building a new home, buying land. He's becoming like his own businessman, making choices in his boxing career. But for the sake of this video, I came up rooting for Spence. So with this content, one has to be the protagonist, one has to be the antagonist. So Spence is the protagonist for this video, but you can always flip it to where Terrence is the protagonist if you were rooting for him. Like how he said, bigger doesn't mean stronger. Like, cause Batman did come back and beat Bane at the end of the movie, and Bane is the bigger guy. But I envision Terrence as Bane, cause just like Terrence, Bane was held back by wealthy men who thought they could control his moves just because, you know, they got influence, they got power, and they got wealth, like I said before. So for years, Bud was in the darkness, like how Bane said he was in the darkness. He was kind of pushed to the side, while Batman always received the glory, i.e. Errol Spence. Just like, cause the media, like everybody propped Errol up. It wasn't like Errol didn't deserve it, but everything that Errol got, Terrence was worthy of getting too, until they fought one another. And this is what I believe is the difference between Batman and Bane and Errol and Bud. One guy was fueled by neglect, so he had more of a chip on his shoulder. Bane and Bud, they had more of a chip. Bud walked out to the fight with the net on, because he said he would set a trap for Errol, the same way Bane set a trap for Batman. Notice how Batman walk up, he comes stepping, straight line, just like Errol. But Bane defense is just like Bud's, immaculate. Like, Batman got the wide telegraph punches throughout the fight. Errol had a lot of those, but Bane just countering, like nothing, none of his strikes are wasted. See, what made Bane such a formidable foe is he had intellect as well as brute force, and that's another thing him and Terrence Crawford got in common. You can't just beat Terrence Crawford with power. Like, you have to have intelligence, skill, and you gotta have it all, and power. And those the attributes you gotta have to beat Bane. And at this point, Batman is fighting uncharacteristically wise. None of his tricks or none of his skills are working on Bane. Just like Errol, best skill wasn't working on Bud. He landed a nice left hook. But Terrence Bane Crawford was smart. He paced himself. He made the Dark Knight believe that he had him pinned just so he could land that counter. And on top of that, he had an insult to injury.
Fight like a younger man. There's nothing held back. It's admirable, but mistaken. Oh, you think darkness is your ally?
So in Spence and Crawford's case, the darkness is the black Air Force Ones. And to bring some of y'all up to date who not aware of black Air Force Ones is that hood negative energy that you get active. At the very least, somebody's about to get hurt. Like how Batman turned the lights out on Bane, Errol wore the black Air Force Ones first when he touched down in Vegas. So at the last press conference before the fight, Bud, he matched that energy and came in some black Air Force Ones. Basically saying this.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man. By then it was nothing to me but blinding. The shadows betray you because they belong to me.
Now I know I'm reaching with the black Air Force Ones, but hey man, when you look at Bud, he looked like one of those type of guys, man. Those black Air Force Ones just fit him. He looked like he be in the hood with some creased up black forces, riding a bike, shaking people down Debo style. So yeah, I just had to throw that in there. I also consider the darkness as inside fighting. Like I said before, Errol Spence is good at going to the body. He's good at fighting in the inside. So he was always confident that this is his domain, his strong suit.
The shadows
But
you because they belong to me.
Going to the body. Here we go. It's what we thought. They are going to start to go toe-to-toe. There's a big left by Crawford. The seventh. A big shot. Down goes Spence for the third time in the fight at the end of the seventh.
Ah, yes. I was wondering what would break first. Your spirit? Oh, your buddy.
see, I ordered the fight, so the end was tough to watch as a Spence supporter. But that line that Bane said to Batman before he broke his back is a legitimate question. Like, we didn't see Spence's body break, but was his fighting spirit broken? The whole line is ironic because Spence said that he would break Crawford physically, mentally, and damn near spiritually. So you gotta wonder, have all of those things fallen on him? And can he bounce back? Errol has yet to make a post on Instagram since the fight. Now, he seems like a well-grounded guy, family-oriented man. He owns a farm, so that loss probably opened his eyes to a lot of people around him. He probably witnessed a lot of people turn their backs on him. So he's just really probably grounded and focused on what always mattered, and that's family. So he probably straight just doing him. But yeah, it always makes you wonder, because I don't want this to be the last that we see of Errol Spence. But if it's not if it's not a smart move health-wise, then by all means, you did enough in the sport. Walk away, champ. But if this isn't the end for Errol, he's gonna have to pick himself up and slowly climb his way out of his funk or depression, whatever he's going through, and see the light at the end of the tunnel. Errol's boxing coach, Derek James, serves as his Alfred. He has to help him acquire new weapons, a new strategy. So he'll definitely need Derek James' help. Or maybe an extra coach alongside, like a Lucius Fox. So the question is, should Errol rematch Terrence Bud Crawford? I think he should. If he can't win, at the least, I believe the second fight will be more competitive. For the simple reason that Terrence Bud Crawford won't have the element of surprise. Just like in this scene, Bane doesn't have the element of surprise. They're more so fighting on equal ground at this point. You see Batman, first he kind of start off with the wide punches like in their first fight. But like once you get to fight an extremely strong person again, you have them scouted from the first fight. So you should be able to sharpen your tools, and that's kind of what it looked like in the first fight. It just looked like Errol was kind of trying to downplay the strengths of Terrence Bud Crawford, and he was more fixated on what he was going to do. And in the second fight, like that was a humbling experience, and he can use that as fuel. So he could come in, he know what Terrence Crawford is coming with. He could bring in Gervonta Tank Davis. And Tank is a southpaw, he's fast, he hits hard. And they're already friends, so having them come in helping them spar only makes sense. So yeah, I'm gonna leave y'all with this motivational video about Errol Spence Jr.
This path demands heart, a steady drive that chooses pain and sacrifice over comfort. Because a legend is defined not by how they fall, but by how they rise.
Sources and credit goes to Showtime Boxing, PPC Boxing, The Dark Knight Rises, and Everlast. This video was fun to make. Most High willing. Catch you on the next one. Thank you. Subscribe, like, hit that bell. One love, y'all.